Greetings and welcome once again to this channel. I am making this video as the first in an ongoing teaching about God. I'm sharing with you my thoughts on finding the God of the devotional path of spiritual growth. As you remember, there is different ways of approaching spiritual growth. This one that you find on this channel is based on devotion to the deity, devotion to the God, the Creator God, the source of all, the God who is known as life and love itself, an adorable God to be worshipped and honored and followed. And so it is a series about exploring the attributes of this God, because one of the in the very first chapter of the Bible, it describes humanity as being made in the image and the likeness of this God. So as we get deeper into this, if you don't have one, you're probably going to want to get yourself a Bible. This is going to be the primary source book for this series, and it's not going to be one or two videos. It's going to go on because the ways of knowing God and the things to know are infinite. So I want to start with a scripture from the book of Luke in the New Testament, chapter 1, verses 78 and 79. And these are the words of a man named Zechariah. Zechariah is the father of John the Baptist, and he is prophesying over his son. He is prophesying about the world to come, the mission and the work of his son John. And he says in these two verses, "Because of the tender mercy of our God, with which the sunrise from on high will visit us, to shine on those who sit in darkness and the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace." Now, I want to draw your attention to that word sunrise, that the mercy of God is going to bring about a sunrise that's going to shine on everyone who sits in darkness and the shadow of death. And until a person is seeking God, until a person begins to know the one true God, they are in darkness and the shadow of death. This is all humanity from Zechariah's point of view, that this light, this sunrise, is coming to everyone. Now, if you have had the privilege of waking up real early in the morning, before the sun comes up, when it's still dark, pre-dawn, in fact, some of your translations of the Bible might say the dawn from on high. If you've sat through the dawn, you know that it's gradual. First, there is a little bit of light shining near the horizon, and then gradually the sun rises until we have daybreak. That might be another translation. The daybreak from on high. In other words, the light of God is going to be shining on humanity. But as we seek this life, it's like watching the dawn. It's gradual. There's no way to fast track spiritual growth. We're not going to be from total darkness to total light in a weekend or a week-long retreat or even a few of these videos that you're watching. This is a process, and it's a gradual process. There's a scripture that says line upon line, precept upon precept. The Lord reveals himself gently and gradually to us. We have bursts of growth, but it is still a process from perhaps one burst to the next. One cloud that's illuminated by the sunrise with that beautiful orange or yellow, and then we see another and another, and then we see the sun beginning to come up off the horizon until everything is light. It's a glorious, a beautiful process, and that's the process we're on in this devotional path. So we're going to be looking at all of the scriptures that we can find that tell us what this God is truly like. We're not going to start with us and say, oh, God must be like me because I'm made in his image. If God was like me, well, he would worry a lot, and he would impulse shop, and he might lose his temper sometimes. And we know that those are not attributes of God at all. Anyone with any common sense would be able to figure out you don't start with the human person and make a God out of that. You begin by seeking, striving to know the truth, the life, the love, the attributes of God, and then seeing how they are lived out in the images of God, that is yourself and all other humans. So that's the devotional path. That's how it works. So I hope you'll join with me again, and I will make as many of these videos for you as I can, because it's the lifeline of our spiritual path. And this path leads from the shadow of death, and many people, most people live under this shadow of death. The shadow of death is fear. And notice, it's just a shadow. How many of us as children were afraid of our shadow? We didn't understand it wasn't real. And this says darkness and the shadow of death is how we exist. And we're going to have this light shine on that and show us the truth. And it's going to guide our feet into the way of peace. If you wanted peace of mind, peace in your heart, peace in your relationships, and how many of us have prayed for world peace over and over. Well, this path leads us into the way of peace. Well, join with me soon, perhaps at the end of these videos about the revelation of the Divine One. We should each take just a moment to be thankful for something wonderful in our lives today, and also to consider that this God, this life, this love is available for us.